Alright, this is a quick video I wanted to do kind of a while ago, but I wanted to get master on every character so I actually have legitimate playtime and not just looking at the list of perks. For pea shooter, vampiric, which I put on pretty much every character that has it because it's very, very useful in op mode. Homing pea because it actually works, because a lot of perks in this game, they either don't work or barely work. So, and then reload Gatling, which helps melt bosses, and the chomper. Mastication, which just helps your character digest faster after vanquishing with Burrow, which is the dig underground move. And then vampiric, which, since Chomper's close range, it's essential. And he doesn't really have much in the way of other perks that you could put in there instead, so that's that. Cornmon. This character, unless you're leveling him to master to get the trophy, there's no real reason to play as him because he is the worst attack character. But Vampiric and Reaping Leap are the two best choices for him, because you gotta survive and then use that, and then the one up here is just because you only have 1 point. Nightcap. My pick for the second best attack character. It could be tied with pea shooter if you use it right, but most people don't utilize the pea shooter correctly. Or this one for that matter, but uppercut will keep you alive during your Feng Fu attack. Because if not, you will take a lot of damage in op mode while using it, and you'll honestly usually die if you want to use it on mobs. And then piercing power, I actually put up a video called We Don't Reload here showcasing this. It is very, very good in op mode. Snapdragon, the best attack character easily for op mode anyway. Obviously you want to hit up that vampiric. Coolant, which when you ignite an enemy, it reduces the overheat, which lets you shoot more. And then longer duration of burning trail, which in op mode that is your signature move. Cactus, low-key slept on, but this character, obviously since it's a defender, won't output as much DPS, but as you can see, we can get it as high as possible. You want popcorn. It creates a potato mine near an enemy whenever you vanquish with a max charge spike shot. This is extremely useful in op mode if you target the weak enemies that will die in one headshot. When there's like a mob. And then that teams up with this. Enemies will randomly explode when earning a critical vanquish, which happens if you're using the sniper or the minigun. So I thought about, because I used to use health regeneration delay, but I figure since this character can get away with its spin move and all that, it's not really a big deal, and if your teammates are bad, you're gonna lose anyway. So Citron, very good defender and tank and good at reviving, but very poor DPS wise. Definitely the worst DPS out of the tanks. So for him, I just tanked him up, played to his strength, both health regen perks, and he doesn't really have much in the way of other relevant ones. So I went with Juiced, which will help melt bosses because it makes it easier to aim the laser, which isn't really that big of a deal, but it also will always deal crit damage with it, so that boosts his DPS a bit. It's still bad, but it makes it as good as it can be. The old tree, definitely the best defender by far. I mean, by the sheer number of them you see in op mode, it's obvious. He also has a lot of perks he can use because some of his are quite low. All the good ones, anyway. So, like, see, that one isn't really relevant because it's only for the acorn, which is kind of sad. But we have health regen delay, more ammo, which is always good. And molasses. Well, logjam is, it just makes your roll for damage wider, which can help taking out mobs. And molasses, since the AI in op mode do not target it, you can literally just shoot it at the beginning and lock down an entire lane with it, so the whole time. And that's that. There are a couple, like, increase max health. It's not the worst choice, but it is 3 points. And just having health regen delay is better. And then you could have more ammo and lock down a lane. And more AoE, so. Because in op mode you just spend pretty much the whole time as the tree unless you're trying to speed around and do an objective or put the pots up. Sunflower, my personal favorite character. As you can see, the upgrade points are glitched because they made Blossom 5 and it used to be less, as you can tell, because it used to be 2 less. But they upped it to 5 because it's OP, because you can heal yourself and an ally, or 2 allies at the same time. Shove to knock back enemies, to like get them off of you or off of the point, etc. And then Revive Award, gain health by reviving an ally. Now, this right here, well, that's for, I forgot that I didn't have, this is the actual one I use for op mode, I forgot. It's the same Blossom, Shove, and then Vampire Flower, which, that's what you use for op mode. I forgot that I had the op mode one set to the second one, but as you can see, well, that one's, because that is for bosses in the story mode, but as you can see, these are glitched because I had it before they updated, so you won't be able to make that class on the Sunflower anymore. And then the Rose pretty much only has 2 relevant perks. Epiphany, which when you use Arcane Enigma, you already move faster so you can get away, and you use this to instantly regen health, and you'll regen to full health. And then Goatality, just to make the mob stay as the goat longer. Because the Rose has, well, they actually buffed the Rose's DPS, so it's not as bad as it was, but it's still poor in comparison. to attack characters. Now, here we have the worst attack character for the zombies. Oh, you just use that because you have 1 point left. Bottomless, you gain ammo when you get a vanquish, helps clear out mobs. And then Vampiric, obvious. Imp. Mech Hunter. While dealing damage as the Imp, you're getting your mech back quicker, and then when you're in your mech, you gain mech fuel simply by damaging enemies with the bash, which is very, very useful for staying in the mech pretty much 24/7, which is what you want to do as the Imp. Super Brains. Vampiric, obvious choice. He has a few other perks you might want to pick instead. Like, Recuperate's not bad, but I prefer Hero Moment. Even though you gain health by dealing damage, with this, you gain health for each enemy you knock into the air, which usually gives you more health, and you can just get away. With the spin move, you take damage during the spin move, so if you're in a mob, it kind of negates itself, which is why I prefer Hero Moment. 80s action hero. I used to hate on this character, but he's actually really good. Okay, his what do they call it? Okay, well, dynamic dodge and can't missile are both still crappy, but we focus on the rocket ride. Vampiric, you gain health, so while you're vanquishing with rocket ride, you will be, yeah, most of his perks are useless too because they have to do with the stupid tag system, which is useless in op mode. Vampiric, so you're gaining health while you're in your attack. Free ride, here's the clutch one. It's only 2 points, but you literally, I have a video of this as well, similar to the nightcap one. You get additional rockets for every vanquish, which this is really, really good for mobbing in op mode. And then this is just because you have 1 point left. Well, you technically had 2, but none of the other two ones are useful. If you're at low health, you get even more health. And faster refresh time for all abilities by earning multiple vanquishes rapidly. This is a very, very good combo. Not only with Vampiric, but with Free Ride. So you can get Free Ride back faster. Electric Slide. My personal choice for the best DPS character for zombies in op mode. That's up for debate, I think. Because if you utilize 80s action hero and imp correctly, they can be really good as well. Super Brains is probably second, and then Foot Soldier, as I said, is the worst. But Electric Slide, definitely a slept on character when the game first came out, but see, Defibrillated or Defibrillated, it's 5 points though, but this would be good for PvP. But at the end of it, you want Vampiric, and you get your tornado back by earning a vanquish, which for every vanquish you get, it helps. So, and the tornado is the main ability you'll be using in op mode. Captain Deadbeard. My choice for the worst character in the game. His shotgun is useless, and I just slap both health regen because His perks are all really bad. This is the only relatively good one. You get ammo when you vanquish enemies at max charge. Personally, since he's a very, very bad character, I would change this to give you ammo when just hitting an enemy at max charge, not vanquishing. That would make him a little better, but he's still the worst character in the game. All-Star. Since his DPS isn't that good, I built him as a tank like he's supposed to be. Both regen perks, so when you use Starstruck, it knocks enemies out of your tackle dummy shield, so you can regen health right away pretty much and stay alive. And it also can be used to get enemies off of the point. It would be cool if it was this made it a barrier that they could not get inside as well, but most of his other perks are very, very bad as well. So, like, most of these are downright useless. But all those are good. Probably the best it has a really good burst DPS, the Space Cadet does, if you do this correctly. You see, he doesn't really have... Huh, that's actually interesting. Deal damage with the targeting part of that. Huh. I never even tried that, because in op mode, you're basically never in the untransform mode. You want both of these, because when you transform, you are a big fat target. None of these other ones are really relevant. Assimilation, though, when you're using Crater Maker, you get full charge of it by getting a Vanquish. Very, very, very good for clearing out mobs. Like, I have a video up where I was literally used this ability once and was in it for like a whole 45 seconds because of this perk. It's also very good for melting bosses, as it does hella damage to bosses. Scientists, you don't see many scientists, but that's just because you have 1 point left. Gain health from healing other zombies, that is the one you definitely want in literally every mode. And then improve range and healing when aiming healing hose, which this is the selection because not only is it giving your heals more range, you know, when those people are running away from you when you're trying to heal, and it also gives you more healing, like faster or whatever. Well, essentially faster, but because it's healing a larger number. And then Engineer, probably the most slept on character, simply because his turret not only feeds ammo into your current magazine for all characters in its range, but it does damage and boosts damage. So a lot of his perks are not really that useful though. But you got Signal Amp to extend the range of the perk, well, the buff of Heavy Helper, which helps when people are not that far, and it also helps to boost the plants, like the little zombie robot helpers. This is just because most of his perks are bad, and this is one of the very few that actually work. And Seismic, which helps you get away from enemies and all that because it knocks them away. And that's that. This was just a short video. I wanted to do it because just yesterday I finally got every single character to master. The final one was the cactus. And then the final zombie was the scientist. I mean, imagine that, like the two worst ones. Or two that are most difficult to get XP in op mode with. But that's pretty much that. We're gonna do this real quick. Okay, well, I'm trying to show that off just to show that it still works even though they quote changed the value of that one perk because it was really good and that was only at 3. But if you had it on before the update, you can still have it on and all that like I showed. So, but that's that. Might be on with a different game later, but this was just a video I wanted to get out because I have extensive playtime with every single character now, and I wanted to do a very good objective video on the best perks for everything for op mode. So, meow.